Hello. In this session, we're going to focus on bending deep to either sit or pick things up and put them down. I'm going to use a solid strap that doesn't stretch and a strap that does stretch to demonstrate some differences. These are about the height that you can put a door anchor in and use it. If your door is locked, put the attachment up at your door and you can do the same thing at home. I'm going to start with a strap that does not stretch at all. If you just have your legs parallel hip distance and practice a squatting motion here, you may find that holding on to something that doesn't stretch helps you go a bit deeper than maybe you could otherwise. Again, making sure that your knees specifically, but all joints are pain-free. If you're unable to go low without any pain whatsoever, I really caution against practicing into pain in your joints. Go to the border of just before pain and then return and keep that as a practice, and eventually perhaps you'll get deeper over time or not. Regardless, it's important that you pay attention to how far you can go without pain or strain and not exercising into joint pain or strain. Another thing to watch out for with the strap, make sure it's a squat motion that you can be able to let go of the band if you needed to, right? Versus leaning back away from the band. That is not quite a squat. It's called a sissy squat. That is something different. We are just focusing on a traditional squat where you can let go of the strap if you had to and you wouldn't fall backwards or forwards. This strap is just helping you use your upper body to support your lower body to bend. Right, so let's try some more like that. Just about 5 more. Again, legs are parallel hip distance. Holding on to the strap. Again, give yourself a little test. Can you lighten that grip and not fall backwards or forwards? 5. Take your time. Again, leaning back with the hips. Leaning forward the torso, back with the hips, bend your knees and ankles, and pull. 4. Again, easy. I'm not letting my lower back round just yet, but as you know in life, when things are way down to the floor, you can't keep a straight spine and pick things up from the ground. That's just not going to happen. So you have to make adjustments. This is one way to practice for that sort of deep down things that are low to the ground. Now I'm going to switch to the stretch band, and this is a bit different feeling because it doesn't support you as readily. With this one, we're going to focus on drawing the shoulder blades back together when you bend your knees. Elbows go back, top of the shoulder goes back, shoulder blades go back. So here we go, legs parallel, hip distance. As you bend, same thing, just pull the shoulder blades back together and then return. And again, this is a great exercise to practice. It really focuses on strengthening the upper back while you squat. It also supports and makes the squat not as intense on your lower body. But specifically when I see people throughout my long career, there is a lot of weakness and rounding of the upper back specifically in their daily life. And this is one way to get strength when they need it most. Because you're leaning forward here, gravity is pulling the upper body forward. You want to resist that. You need strength. So practicing a squat like this is really beneficial for that. You can also perhaps again go a little deeper than you could otherwise without the band. Maybe the band helps you not have such pain to your knees. Easy. Let's do 4 more here. Easy. Shoulder blades, elbows, top of shoulder back, pull together. 4. Look forward. As you bend, change your focus. Look down a bit. 3. Knees track forward over your toes. And again, easy. Breathe. 2. One more time. Again, easy. Breathe. Really great job. Now, let's say you want to bend deeper than that. Well, for that, you're going to need to open up your legs wider, and your knees and toes are going to face out a little more. Not to extremes, just to a comfortable stance, right? So your knees are going to track out to an angle. They may not go over your toes directly, everyone's different with that, but the knees track out gently, keeping your whole foot on the floor. I'm going to start with my band that does not stretch so much, taking that wide stance. Now I'm going to allow the band to support me. I'm going to go down here. Still trying to keep my lower back from rounding just yet. Again, practicing a nice wide stance. Breathe and return. The strap is really supporting me here. Easy, gentle. Very good. 3. My body leans forward, hips go back. I change my focus, push to the floor. 2. Keeping the whole foot on the ground, especially the heel bone. Toes relaxed. Really great job. 1. So that was focusing on keeping my lower back from rounding. I'm going to use a stretch band here, adding the upper body, shoulder blade, scapular movement with the arms. As you bend, Shoulder blades draw back, squeeze shoulder blades together, and then return forward. Again, pull back. Try not to let your lower back round here. We're not going that far down, but at some point, again, when you want to pick something up that's really on the floor, you have to allow your lower back to round at some point a little bit. You just don't want to lift a lot of heavy weights like that or heavy things like that for very much of your life. Easy. But you do want to have the capacity to do that if you needed to. Easy, breathe. It's a myth to say that your back shouldn't round at all when you pick things up off the floor. Because what if it's on the floor? And if you, in order to bend those legs a lot, your lower back is going to have to round some to pick things up. Easy. That's just how it is in life. Breathe. You just don't want to have a weekly practice of picking up heavy things and rounding your lower back to do so. That can be a very challenging place to put people in. Easy, breathe. One more time. Take your time. My goodness, I certainly do talk a lot. And rest. Great job. Now, once you've got the hang of that, you'll know, because you don't need either strap, to focus on that same position. Trying not to round your lower back here. Easy, breathe. Again, knees bend, you lean forward, hips go back. Right? So you know that that's a good place for you to exercise in, because you've got this sense of hips going back, body leaning forward, trying not to let that lower back round as you bend the knees and ankles and hips. It just sails back, it returns up tall. Let's do 3 more like this. Easy. Great job. 3. You'll know you're ready because you feel secure with this and there's no pain to your joints. And again, if you have joint pain doing this motion, don't go so deep. And yes, that may mean that picking things up off the floor may not be the best exercise practice for you as a modality. There's other ways you can focus on getting strength like that, but doing a squat that gets your knees into pain is not one of them. Now, once all of those things are great, you know I'm going to encourage you to add weight, because generally when I'm picking something up off the floor, it's going to add weight to your body. So it's really helpful to practice things. Lifting a weight. It could be any weight. This is 10 pounds, right? Keeping my lower back from rounding. Easy bend. Just keep the weight at your chest. Take your time. Knees bend wide apart. And push. Once you have the strength needed, you can add weight. Breathe deeply. 8. You can also just practice with the bands and get strong that way. 7, there's nothing wrong with that. Easy breathe, but adding weight. 6 is really essential in life because you lift things in life. Your exercise practice should bolster you for your natural life outside of your exercise regimen. 4, you don't just exercise just for no reason. Besides, it's good for your mental and emotional well-being. It's also good for your physical well-being in your life. Breathe deeply. 2, one more time. Really great job. Excellent work. Rest. Very nice job. Now, in case you don't quite understand what I'm talking about, sometimes things are on the floor that you can't really get a good grip from above. You've got to get to the bottom of whatever it is you're picking up. And those tend to be heavier things or awkwardly shaped items where there's no handle, no way to grab. For those, you're going to need a wide stance and a really deep bend, right? But to get your hands as low as you need to, at some point, you're going to allow your lower back to round a bit to get your hands on the base of whatever you're doing. That means you're going as deep as you can and allow your hips to go deeper, right? I'm not going as deep as I can and then bending my body forward. I go as far as I can with no arch, and then I allow my hips to sink deeper and my lower back is going to round. And that's what I'm talking about when I say to pick some things up, your lower back is going to need to round, especially when those things are on the floor. You need to get underneath them for whatever reason that may be. Again, I don't recommend lifting heavy things like this, but you know, a grocery bag that maybe has no handles, no other way to pick it up, that may be a reason that you need to use something like this. So, coming back to your strap that does not stretch, supporting from above. Allow your knees to bend, no arch. Then you go bend the knees deeper, allow your lower back to round. The arms are supporting you. And then pull your body up. It's a lot of hip and you can feel that. Again, go only as far as your joints are okay with this. Easy, but to get lower, you're gonna have to drop the hips lower, your lower back will have to round. Breathe deeply. It's impossible to keep it in the arch with that much bending of your knees and hips and ankles. Most people are not built for that. It's just not how we are. Breathe. But this is one way you can practice that. Remember, when you're down at that depth, you should be able to let go and not fall backwards, right? This strap is just helping you gain strength, not balance. Easy. Take your time. I mean, balance is a type of strength, but I think you caught my drift. Easy. Your lower back has no arch. Then the hips go lower. Your lower back will have to round to get the hips to go lower, right? We're not just rounding our back and moving our hips and not moving our hips. Hips go lower. That will encourage, or your lower back will have to round as a response to that. You can try it with the bands as well. Elbows back, shoulder blades back. Go as deep as you can. To go deeper, your lower back is going to have to round and return. This offers much less support. Grabbing higher offers a little more support, but not as much as the band that had no stretch. Easy. No arch, and then allow the hips to go deeper. Your lower back will have to round. Easy. That's just how it is. You'll find that if you do it parallel, your hips can only go so far before you lose your balance backwards. That's why your legs are open wide apart and knees and toes facing out just a little bit, not tremendously. Comfortably, your lower back will have to round to stand up tall and rest. Excellent job. Now, I think you know what's next. We're not going to use a weight just yet. Here we go. Legs open, a little wider than shoulders is fine. Knees rotate a little bit, not the maximum, just a nice comfortable range. You're going to bend, keeping a little arch to your lower back. Now, hips go lower, your lower back will round, and then push up nice and tall. You can feel that in your hips a lot. Make sure you're comfortable. This is not a movement for everybody. Easy, but there are things on the floor that we need to be able to pick up. We want to pick them up with as good a form as we can, and this is that form. Easy breathe, right? Bending, no arch. To get the hips to go lower, the lower back can round. We're not just going down and then leaning your body forward and rounding. That would be called picking things up with our back, and that's not the focus that we have right now. There's nothing wrong with picking up a feather or something light like that, but we're talking about anything that is a little bit on the cumbersome side, you know, a bag of groceries, something that you have in your normal life that you don't want to be using your back to lift with. Easy. Let's do 4 more. Take your time. I'm just using my hands to help me think of reaching down, getting the hips to go low. Notice that my hips keep going down. They keep going down. They keep going down. Then they come up. They don't go down, stop, and then my body comes forward. They always go down. Hips go down. Torso responds to the hips going down. Let's do 1 more there. Great job. Torso responds to the hips going down. That's right. Excellent work. Now, once you've got all that under your seatbelt, I do recommend, of course, adding weight. Because when you're picking things up, you're adding weight to your existing body. That's just how it is. You can keep it at your chest, we did earlier. Allow your lower back to round and push. Take your time. Take a break. Hit pause. Easy. Keep it at your chest and push 4. Take your time. If it doesn't feel good to go this low, do not go this slow. Breathe deeply. 3. There are other ways to do it. To gain strength in this general area. 2. Again, this is just the easiest and most direct for most people. Great job. Now, we're going to do the act of picking things up and putting them down. First, we're going to put it down, right? So as you bend, hips go back. You may not need to round your lower back here. Leave it there. Stand tall. Now, bend your knees. Your back may have to round, but the hips have to go down. And then you're going to pick it up. Great job. Knees bend. Lean forward. To put it all the way down, you may have to get the hips to go lower, which may have your lower back round. That's okay. But again, make sure it's about the hips going back and down, not your body leaning forward here. Easy. And then stand up. Take your time. Easy. Keep a nice long spine for as long as you can. But at some point, the hips need to go lower, so your back will round to accommodate that. Easy. Otherwise, you'll just stay there. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, but easy. In life, things are often on the ground that need to be picked up by you. And this is how you practice that. Easy. It's a very functional thing to do. Easy. Bend. Take your time and rest. Excellent work. So as you can see, it feels really great to practice these movements so long as your joints, specifically your knees, are pain-free. And again, there are practices to do to help you gain strength to pick things up without bending so deeply, but that's not what we're talking about today. You will have to use a lot more of your back strength to pick things up if your knees won't bend that way, and there's no other way to get the object that you're looking at, or the object of your desire, regardless. There you go. I hope you found that very A, enjoyable, B, informative. My name is Eric. This is Nucleus Strength. I look forward to getting stronger with you in the future. Yours in good health. Take care.